finished turning both ends. When I was turning this end, I didn't really measure it that much. I just looked at the other end and went, it's close. I can see it's actually a little bit smaller. I don't know if you can see that's got a bigger bump and that one's a little bit thinner, but doesn't matter, it's handmade. Handmade things are often imperfect. Feels good though. Sanded with 180 grit paper, the finished paper, so that's good to go. Now I'm going to wax it. When you do these sort of things, you need to put on something that's non-toxic. And this is, because you're going to be using it with food, and this is a type of beeswax that I've also mixed a little bit of olive oil into. Now I'm going to rub it on the surface, not too much, you don't need an enormous amount of this material. In fact, if you put too much on, it just flicks off in your face. And rub it onto the wood, and I've got a cloth to push it into the timber with. What happens with the cloth is it heats the wax up and melts it into the wood, and then it sinks right in, and then it sets it into the wood. First it melts it to sink it in, and then it rubs off the excess, so you end up with a really good coating of wax on it. Okay, that's most of it. Thing about putting wax on wood is it sinks into the surface. It's unlike lacquer that you put on top of the surface and it sits on top. This actually sinks into the surface and it conditions the wood, makes it feel good, makes it smell nice, and it's non-toxic, as I say. Now, rules for using a cloth on a lathe. Don't wrap it around your finger, because if it gets caught, it might pull your finger off. And that's actually a real thing. Sometimes fingers do come off. They're not held on that well. Only a little. So, no wrapping it around. Hold it between your fingers and either push down or pull up. I like to pull up. Yeah, that's about it. Don't wrap it around. If you think it's going to let go, just drop it straight away and it'll just go and fall down. You see it? When it's under tension, you just drop it and it lets go straight away. Let's get the engine going. Okay, little bits are flying off, but not much. Now you can see the wax start to liquefy. You see that bit of dust come off, a bit of smoke come off. That's the wax turning into a liquid. Now again, I don't have it wrapped around the fingers, so if I let go, all good. It's going to heat up every now and then, so just be prepared to get a hot finger. That's pretty good. That's looking real good actually, I'm pretty happy with it. Now I'll do the rest of it. Pull up if you want to do it that way. It smells like honey. Beeswax. If it feels sticky, you haven't rubbed it off enough yet, and that you can even hear it. Doesn't sound or feel sticky. In fact, it's pretty good all over. I might give it a little bit more and then I'll go and cut the ends off and it's job done. Well, it's not quite job done. There's one more thing you need to do, and that is when you're finished with the lathe, get Mr. Vacuum and give it a clean. Doesn't take a little bit. Cleaners don't do the machines, they only do floors. You do the machine. Don't leave it dirty for the next person. A little bit like when you go to a campsite or a picnic ground. You really want to turn up to a nice clean barbecue. Not one that's got the last person's food on it still. If you're one of those people, grow up. And a bit of one there. You don't have to do a perfect job, just get the bulk of it. After all, there's a machine in a workshop. Doesn't matter if there's a bit of dust on it. Okay, all good. That can go in the cleaner's vacuum cleaner. And then we'll put that away when we're done.